Welcome to Behind the Entertainment Scene with Stephanie Thompson. I am your host. On this show, we bring you guests with entertaining insights, inspiring stories, and secrets to their success. And I have with me my fabulous co-host, Antonio Carnota.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Yes,
it's a pleasure
so
to be here with you, Stephanie.
It's nice to have you. And we have a fabulous guest today. In fact, her name is Dusty Summers, and she is Las Vegas's only nude magician. That is quite a title, Dusty.
Yes, thought it up all on my own. Although it was also true at the time.
Yes. So tell us about that. So how did that all come to be?
Well, I started out as a go-go dancer, and that was back in about 1965, 66, when you wore a little fringe bikini and danced on a rather small stage, not like the boxes you saw on television, but a small stage. And then people kept wanting more, and so I learned how to dance on a bigger floor. And I was not a trained dancer, so it's just a free-for-all, but I think in my last lifetime I was probably an ice skater. So that was very easy for me. And little by little it wound up being burlesque. This back in the, probably about 67 or 68 in Phoenix, Arizona, they were going to bring back old-time burlesque. And they were doing it with a comedian named Monkey Kirkland. And Monkey Kirkland was somebody that my parents used to go and see when I was 10 years old. So here as an adult, I'm working with somebody my parents used to go and see. Well, bringing back old-time burlesque did not work very well, but I did get a bit of advice and a bit of knowledge and more ideas, and my show name, Dusty, from the choreographer. Her name was Chris Starr, and she said, we can't have people named Stephanie and Donna, which is my real name, and Ruth and Jane. She said, you look like there was a song named Dusty, a local song named Dusty out in Phoenix, Arizona that was popular at the time. She said, you look like a Dusty, you look like and she went down, you look like a Misty Night, and she named everybody. But I didn't have a last name, it was just Dusty. But I was 18, people who knew me all my life were now calling me Dusty instead of my real name. It took. And years later, when I auditioned in a club, they said, you have to have two names. So all the way as I'm driving down to Guys and Dolls in Phoenix, I'm trying to think, what goes with Dusty? Springfield was taken, and I'm not a singer. And Summers was just the best I could come up with, but it kind of hung together well.
It does, yeah.
And then years later, I worked with a magician in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, whom I was married to him for a couple of years, Professor Turbin. He said, why don't you add some birds to your show? And I wasn't really terribly interested, but I was setting his magic for him, and I was beginning to assist him, and the birds were a bit terrifying. But the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn. And then now I had what they had in the movie Gypsy. Now I had a gimmick. And if you had a gimmick in burlesque, especially at that time, you could go a lot further than if you were just a walker. Of course, Tempest Storm would prove a whole different truth of that, but nobody's that gorgeous, and I wasn't. But magic became my gimmick, and I did use doves, I used a teacup poodle, I used people, canes, you name it, and I became a great student of magic. I had a lot of help here with Gary Darwin, and I eventually helped influence some people like my friend Georgette Dante, who eventually went into magic. She's 10 times a show person I am, but it just kind of all clicked together. So when I came here to perform magic the first time was the Royal Las Vegas on Convention Center Drive. And I got that booking because I was working in Florida through an agent called Roland Muse. And I didn't like Roland Muse just a whole lot. And I was really ready to go change agents, but he called me up and he said, I have a couple of bookings. I know you really don't want to go there, but if you'll take them, I'll book you in Las Vegas to the Royal Las Vegas. And I thought, yeah, right. Well, they did. And then when I came here, I became Las Vegas's only nude magician because I did vanish the birds, produce them and vanish them with wearing a sheer negligee. And I've had people on spotlights up above me like that, looking down, tell me that they did not know where the birds went. But you know, magic is misdirection, and I can misdirect. So I did.
Yes.
So that's how it evolved. It evolved along. And then I'm kind of like a lot of entertainers. I want to work, I want to be on stage. So they ask me, can you do it? Even though I know I can't, I always say yes.
Yes, yes, of course.
Because that's how you get the best opportunities, by trying something new, something that you know you can't do it, but yeah, you can.
Wow, this is so fascinating. When we come back, we're going to hear more interesting stories from Dusty. We'll be right back.
Thank you for calling Denim Revival.
Hate to say goodbye to your favorite jeans? Well, now you don't have to, because Denim Revival is here for you. Mail us your jeans and our professionals will fix it right up. We offer you all kinds of alteration services, including invisible repairs, let-outs, taperings, and original hemming, or even have your own custom-made jeans. Quoted the best denim repair shop by GQ, Vogue Magazine, and LA Times. Denim Revival, your search for alteration and repair ends here.
And to you it ain't pretty little thing, howdy your baby.
And we're back with Behind the Entertainment Scene. I'm your host, Stephanie Thompson, and I have my fabulous co-host, Antonio Carnota.
Thank you,
La
Stephanie.
la la.
We have a beautiful lady. I don't want to say just a girl, but a lady with us tonight.
A wonderful lady.
Yes.
Dusty Summers, Las Vegas' only nude magician. And that is quite a title to carry. I
Yes.
love it. And she was telling us some interesting stories. Now, you mentioned earlier a song that Antonio was playing
About
that
Moon River.
that
Do
you
have a beautiful.
you identified with. Tell us, you were telling us a story.
Moon River, when I first got into burlesque and I was performing in the theater, the lady was playing the piano. I can't remember her name, but it was Memphis, Tennessee, and she's playing a big, beautiful, grand piano, and she's playing Moon River, which was my opening song, and the song is hypnotizing.
Yes, of course.
She became hypnotized playing it, and she just kept right on playing. And she kept playing, and I tried to holler to her to stop. I went like that, every motion, but no stopping. And so I walked out onto the stage and onto the piano, and I stomped on the piano, and she looked up and I said, you can stop now. Really, it's beautiful enough you could dance to it forever, you know.
Yes.
If I were a figure skater, I would skate to that song. It's just beautiful. Love it.
And how important is music for you and for your acts, for your work? It is important for you, or you prefer any kind of other options, other sensations?
Music, without music, there wouldn't be much point of living. Music gives you a way to release your feelings, a way to connect. I'm connecting through other artists' music. I'm interpreting my feeling, and hopefully I'm bringing you in to what I'm feeling. I'm bringing you into what I'm feeling. And hopefully the feeling I'm bringing to you is that you forget your whole, whatever happened. You forget the tickets you got on the way here and the one you're going to get home because you had one too many. and we just kind of, it's such a form of expression, and I get to use other people's work. I get to interpret the feeling behind something like Moon River. I can make you feel like you're skating with me, you know. And
It's beautiful.
when I'm using it in magic, to me, everything has to have a reason. You don't just pick a piece of music. I tell people, and I think singers have heard it before, and I'm sure you have as a piano player, and you have as a singer, you better like the music you choose, because the people, if they like it, if they get from it what you're trying to convey, When you come back, they don't want any new stuff. They want to hear and see what you did before. So you may be doing Moon River, you may be doing it 100,000 times. You
Yes.
better like it just as well, because for some of them it's the first time, but for others, they came back because they wanted to see what you did and how you interpreted it, and can you make them feel that way again?
Yes.
And you know, it's such a privilege to be able to do that for an audience. You know, whatever your outlet may be, whether you're a singer or a musician, or for me, burlesque, magic, when I can see wonder on somebody's face, what a gift.
Why burlesque in your life? Why magic? Why did you choose that?
I can't sing and I can't play the piano. I don't know how to tap dance.
But you're very good with burlesque, with magic. When it was the first time that you realized that you said to yourself, I would love to be in this business?
When I saw the movie Gypsy, that was probably it. Believe it or not. Because Gypsy, the premise of the movie, although it's a very glamorized version of burlesque, she was an ugly duckling that no one expected anything from. She maintained elegance and grace she's taken her clothes off, but it's kind of incidental to the rest of the story. So I'm taking my clothes off, but I'm also offering you a smile. Maybe if I might make you laugh. Maybe just for today, you forget where you are. And the burlesque was my vehicle to entertain. I've told jokes. If I could make you laugh or smile, I've done my job. Whatever abilities that I can convey, you know, it's a privilege to be able to do it. And to bring people into kind of a make-believe world might be better than the one that we're all actually living in, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have some books over here. First of all, you have your autobiography, The Lady is a Stripper, Memoirs of Las Vegas' Only Nude Magician, Dusty Summers.
The Lady is a Stripper, the title is because some of the places I worked at, they would say, we'd like you to be more sexy.
Here in
And I
Vegas,
said, you mean dirty, don't you? And they said, no, more sexy. I said, you mean dirty, don't you? Because I'm not. That isn't me. That's not my character. You know, some people can do that. I had a little sister who was really good at it, but it's not me. So people would say, you're too much of a lady. Well, one thing we can always say about her, she's a stripper, but she's a lady. And my foster mother said, well, if she's doing it, it must be all right, because Dusty is a lady. So the lady is a stripper.
I like it.
Memoirs of Las Vegas' Only Nude Magician.
I like that. And then we had this, you were talking about this picture of you on top of the airplane. Now you said that you and your friends actually posed topless on top of this airplane at one point.
Yes.
And
McCarran
so
Airport.
tell us about that. What possessed you to do that?
Beautiful idea.
My friend Jan Fontaine, she was a pilot and a burlesque performer. And her and Steve Miller, who was a former councilman, and a bunch of other friends, I don't know why we got it in our head this would be such a great idea at 6 in the morning to go out to McCarran Airport.
You are so brave. You are very brave. My God, you are amazing.
Sometimes I think I just lost one or two, you know. And we posed on the wings of the airplane, and we did one topless, and then we put our tops on, and we were in bikinis. And it was just a fun thing to do. And all these years later, I still have people come up and say, oh my God, you're the one that was nude out there at McCarran Airport. Nowadays, they would lock me up and throw away the key, but it was just adventure.
Yes.
Yes. Something else new to do.
Right.
You have so many interesting stories, and we're going to take another quick commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to learn some more secrets to Dusty's success. We'll be right back.
Snap-on dentures will change your life. And at Smiles Today Dental, we now offer the lowest price in town. Mini dental implants can stabilize your loose dentures permanently. Call Smiles Today Dental for a free consultation.
And now we're host. I have my fabulous co-host, Antonio Carnota.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Dusty was telling us about a plane. That is amazing.
Yes, Dusty Summers, Las Vegas' only nude magician. Yes, we are so enjoying your presence here today, Dusty.
Well, I'm enjoying.
You
Gotta enjoy it when you can talk about yourself and someone cares.
absolutely. So how old were you? Well, first of all, when you were a little girl, what did you want to be? How old were you when you watched Gypsy? You said Gypsy was when you...
I was probably early teens, I'm going to say, is when that movie came out with Natalie Wood.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so early
And,
teens.
When I was a young girl, movie magazines were the it. And all of these movie stars, Marilyn Monroe and all the rest of them, they all started out as an ugly duckling and they became glamorous and beautiful. Well, I was an ugly duckling. I was on the honor roll. I was a nerd. I was everything that these people all were. And my ambition at the time was pretty simple. I wanted to grow up to be prettier than my friends. And for people to look at me like I looked at these people, I wanted to grow up and be glamorous, And if it could happen to them, maybe I could get really lucky, and step out from ugly duckling into swan.
Yes.
And burlesque helped me do that. And it's actually been very, very good to me. Even though at the time, burlesque was so naughty. Mm-hmm. And now it's not as naughty.
Right.
Because if it's Cher or if it's whatever star you can think of, if there isn't some nudity or the word burlesque used in what they're doing to try to sell it, sex sells. It always did.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And may I ask you something? You are a woman of success. At the same time, you are absolutely beautiful. So imagine that we are in front of 1 million girls, and you would like to give them an advice because you were working on your career, but I can imagine that many men, they were coming like fox to you. How did you focus your mind in your career, and how can you tell the little girls focus on your career and take care of the circumstances?
I would probably tell any entertainer, whether you're in burlesque or you're a musician or a singer, to look at your audience, to connect with them, and to remember that no matter how afraid you are, they are more afraid of you than you are of them.
Really?
They are. If you were to say boo, if you were to walk up to them and say boo, they jump right out of their seats.
Oh.
It's hard to believe until you've done it and know that you have more power on stage than most of us give ourselves credit for. We have the ability to reach out to multiple people with the force of your personality and your talent. And I think that if you share it, you're sharing your soul, you're bearing your soul, you're willing to take that chance to be embarrassed, to make someone laugh, to fall off the stage, to trip over your feet, to miss a note, and keep right on going.
Show must go on.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
And
show.
Can you tell us one story about one experience about your beautiful new book? One experience, please, about your new book.
The latest book
Yes.
would be The Magical
biography.
World of Burlesque, and
Yes.
that is the biggest one there. There's probably 200 or 300 pictures of people that I worked with and people that I wrote about. Sammy Davis Jr., Fred Travelina, Joey Bishop, Tempest Storm, Georgette Dante. They were Gary Darwin. They were from every place in show business. Charlie Vespia, who was an opera singer who became a great, they call him Candy Butcher, but that's a second banana in burlesque. And I got the chance to interview these people, and I thought a couple of years ago, they're getting older. If I don't write this book now, while they're still alive to read it, they will never get to read it. They've read the stories about themselves, but to put them all together, along with the history of Las Vegas, and then there's some in Boston and Florida and Arizona in there as well, that I gifted the book to everybody who's in it. And then some people use it almost like an autograph gallery. You know, they can go to the people who still do live and get their signatures. And I've had people reach out to me from writing the book because they're just happy that someone still cares.
Right.
And I care.
From 1973 to 1986.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're interested in buying the book, go to Amazon.com, look up Dusty Summers, and there's 3 books on that site.
And do you have any kind of website that we can visit the website?
I don't have a website because I just never could get the knack of keeping that thing going. But you can go to Dusty Summers' Facebook page, and I'm a public personality, so even if I can't accept you as a friend, you can certainly message me. And if you want one that's signed, then just message me and I'll tell you how to do that, you know. But you can buy them cheaper from Amazon.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. We really enjoyed having you, and
It's been fabulous.
We wish you much success in your future endeavors. And
Thank you.
thank you so much for joining us, and God bless you. God bless your family. And let's take it away, Antonio.
1, 2, 3. Now's the end of the show. We really hate to let you go. We promise that we will return with many more fun things to learn. Come back and see us next week. Yo,